Well, again, thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Derek Nojek. I lead the Alliances team here at ThoughtSpot for Databricks, and I'm joined by my colleague, Ali Aladdin, who will be presenting a demonstration in a few minutes, and as well, our customer, very recent customer, Martin Stangeland from Oslo, Norway, and Martin will introduce himself later on. But thank you for coming today to our session on delivering live analytics to your lakehouse. So just a quick overview on ThoughtSpot. The founders of ThoughtSpot come from a search background, Google and Bing, and understood the power of using search for unconstrained discovery and taking this concept, this paradigm, and applying it to enterprise data, and embedding some AI insight capability within that. And this is really supporting our mission to help the world become more fact-driven and to make it very easy for every user in the enterprise to access their data and uncover insights, just as we would as users of Google, consumer-grade search. And our vision is shared, adopted by many large and small companies around the world. You see some of the brands here. And so since 2012, the journey has been wonderful, and having great customers like this to help us bring this vision to life has been great. So many customers would ask, why do we need another BI tool or another data visualization tool? But the reality is, those are older technologies, and when we look at cloud, scale, performance, even the size of data today, there's a need for a new architecture. And this is what ThoughtSpot is built upon, built for the cloud. The other problem faced by many BI teams is, you need to have some expertise, technical expertise, to build out what business users are asking for. And that's probably the number one issue our field teams around the world are facing with their customers. It's that backlog. And it's a serious problem because data is always changing, requirements are always changing, and business users have questions that they need answers real time. And we called out a program, Dashboards Are Dead, really focusing on this issue of static dashboards. So perhaps a year or 2 years ago, there was a dashboard architected for a business problem, and it hasn't been maintained. And often we hear, dashboards are being published and they're not being used. So adoption it becomes an issue, and essentially they're dead. So this introduces what we call live analytics for the modern data stack, and this is really, ThoughtSpot leadership here with dynamic search architecture and providing live query for all users against all data assets. And this is really the paradigm shift that we're seeing using search and AI to bring this to life. And the consumer-grade user experience, using natural language, a few keywords, and uncovering insights, a simple chart, or even being able to drill down to the most granular level of detail in near real time. Now, our partnership with Databricks is a perfect match, because the Databricks is doing a fantastic job with the lakehouse to acquire more data in a central place for users to be able to leverage for analytic reporting, or really just answering questions. And so our platform is installed, is not installed, it's available on the cloud, and really just points to your investment of Databricks through Data Lake. And so again, providing that live query for ad hoc questions and answers, but also into what we would call live boards. And so this evolves the user experience in a very easy fashion. And these live boards now are available for really anyone in the organization. So typically with BI tools, there's a licensing challenge, maybe the refresh rate on data is a challenge, and those are, that's friction in serving business users. We avoid all of that. So when you think about ThoughtSpot, think about there are two main use cases that we address. One is for the internal users in a self-service platform. Again, here, a few keywords on the left. You see a few keywords, and this could be 30 billion rows of data, transactional data. And what comes back in a second response is insights and the ability to drill down in any path. And this is ThoughtSpot Analytics. For external use cases, supplier, customer, application, embedding live analytics in an application, we have ThoughtSpot everywhere. And this is a very powerful application, again, leveraging data in the lakehouse that can allow you to bring this user experience to life for external users as well, at scale. What we found is that Churn, the growth of data apps on the left here, you see huge numbers, over 70% growth in the last number of years. But look at the retention rate by users, down to 10% after, day 10. And so this becomes, again, a user experience issue that ThoughtSpot is perfect to address. And if we think about the developer role or product builder, it's challenging trying to build an interactive app that's going to be high value and answer all the questions that possibly could get asked. And we see Forrester reporting a low adoption rate there. But with ThoughtSpot everywhere, you can create this data app in record time. I think the latest stats we have is in 70% less time, a developer is able to create a data application using ThoughtSpot everywhere. And we have an advanced modeling language called ThoughtSpot Modeling Language, TML, again, for your developer team to become really advanced with the intended user experience. And finally, just to highlight 3 customer brands here, we're going to speak to Martin afterwards, after the demo, but we've got some great customer experiences on Databricks live today, and spanning small businesses and large, including an embedded use case with Emerald X to their millions of customers around the world. So this is just a quick overview of what ThoughtSpot is all about and our applications. At this point, let me ask Ali to come up and give you a first-hand demo. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek. Oops. Okay, let's see what all this hype is all about. Right. So as Derek alluded to, right, our technology basically is built around our mission and our vision, right, to be a more fact-driven world and make data accessible to everybody, right, through natural language search. So how do we do that? This is a typical, you've seen this before, there's nothing new here. This is a dashboard, right? But we call it a live board. And how we get here, the journey matters, right? In your legacy tools like Tableau and Power BI, you need a large team to create something like this. And that it's static. This is not interactive. So I'm going to just dive into the demo and show you how you build this through natural language search and get answers, be curious, get answers, and interrogate your data. All right? So in your Delta Lake. So a quick thing here. First, we create a connection to your Delta Lake. And once you create a connection through a JDBC connection, you will be exposed to your Delta Lake data tables, right? And then you can choose to pull what you want and create a worksheet. And this is a worksheet, right? Now, worksheet, what's a worksheet? Worksheet is basically a semantic layer. It basically has 2 functions. One, it's a light semantic layer that brings all the tables that you brought into this concise view. ThoughtSpot is smart enough to recognize the table relationships, create the joins on the fly over here. I brought in 6 or 7 tables from Delta Lake. It's created all these tables over here, fact, multi-dimension tables, right? And it's created all the joins on the fly, right? And this is more of a pictorial view. For developers out there who like to live on the command line and want to do more with it, you can go to the TML, like Derek was alluding to, or ThoughtSpot modeling language, which is based on YAML. You can make all your changes here. You can make changes to your data model. You can add joins. You can do whatever you want, right? And then basically publish it. You can put that to your GitHub or Git repo, and then make that part of your data development pipeline, deployment pipeline. So there are a couple of ways to do it. You can do it visually, and you can do it on the command line as well. Anyway, a worksheet is also, it bridges the gap between your data engineer, data analyst, DBA, and the end user. ThoughtSpot users are basically, our persona is the end user, the business user. So worksheet is a way to bridge that gap. And once this worksheet is created, then you expose the search feature, search function, to your end user. And without any further delay, let's start searching data. This is a very familiar thing, search. You use search for everything in your daily lives, like a Google search bar. And you can see, I was doing all these searches before this demo. Search is based on rank order. So I've been searching a lot on number of customers. Oh, by the way, before I go back, let's go back. We're going to view behavior and churn rate. So this is going to be a data set that we are going to query against, right? So let's say I want to view number of customers by show name. Boom. ThoughtSpot understands my question, number of customers, show name, sends the SQL, creates a SQL on the fly, creates the join on the fly, sends it to Delta Lake, brings the data back, creates the visualization, and there you have it. How easy was that? And here's the cool part here. If you want to see the query visualizer, you can see this was done on the fly. I didn't have to do it as an end user. I don't need to understand it. I don't need to know it. It was done on the fly. Here's the SQL that it generated. Right here. Now, I've written a lot of SQL in my life. Most of you have too. But I could not write this elegant SQL in such a short time. Send it to my data lake, Delta Lake, and bring the results back. Create a visualization, and then now you'll see how I can do further analysis on it, further drill downs on it. So this is the power of search and visualization that we offer. Now let's say I want to add more to this, right? I have, if you hover over here, I've got a measure, and I've got an attribute, right? Say I want to do, this is a little busy chart. I need to do a little more analysis on it. Let's say I want to do top 10. Oops, or top 5. Let's do top 10, because it's a little more manageable. These are keywords that come right out of the box. So top, feature, versus, contains, these are all out of the box. So this tells me right here, I can now, it's more manageable visualization. I can see here that these are my top 10 show names by customers. If I don't like this visualization, I can change it. I can change it to a column view, as easily as that, right? So this is the simple search patterns. Now, let's look for, I had this, in the last 6 months, a little more manageable. Good. So I can see Ted Lasso in the last 6 months is the top customer name, show name, in the last 6 months, a number of customers. Let's say I want to compare, I told you the keyword versus, right? I want to compare, say, California versus another state, say Texas. As easy, right? You do California versus, see how it's prompting me? It's giving me a keyword, and I can do Texas. Sorry. Here it is. There it is. I can change my visualization. I want a stack column. I can get that. No problem, right? Here's a SQL. Long SQL, but it took me literally a couple minutes, less than a minute, to create this visualization and this dashboard, or this live board. Great, now I have all this data. Let's get curious. Let's get jiggy with it. Let's get dirty with it, right? Let's go drill down on it. We call it drill anywhere. So let's say I want to drill over here, right? I want to change my query a little bit, just for kicks, right? I want to go on Ted Lasso here. We'll do this, we'll do that. Top 10. Let's do drill down here. Here I want to see. I want to get more details around my data. I want to ask more questions. I want to drill down, and I want to see what my freeloader status is here. So I can see, the freeloaders on Ted Lasso are not as much as the paying subscription, but still, here are the people who are freeloading Ted Lasso, meaning, right? They'll get the free trial for 30 days. They'll binge watch Ted Lasso, and then they'll cancel the subscription. We've all been there, right? Not me, I've never been there. I know a friend who does it. So anyway, but it's giving me insights, because what the point I'm trying to make here is I'm really curious about my data. I'm asking a question, then I have the next question, then I have a next question. And I have more questions around this, and I'll show you. But in your typical BI legacy environment, your Tableaus and Power BIs, there's always this back and forth. There's always this friction between your BI data teams and your business end users. You constantly have to go to them. So we want to keep this experience frictionless. We want to keep it as aerodynamic as possible, right? Because fastest time to insights, that's where the money is, right? So let's look at this freeloader status here. I'm going to right-click here. There's hardly anything here. I want to drill down and see, just see what I can drill down here. What are my options here? Here, number of customers by region. So I can see which state I need to target here. Okay, I can see, east over here is a little more, west is a little more, the middle states are okay. Maybe I need to target the west, right? Let's see over here. Let's go drill down on, maybe the customer age group. Which age group is this that's doing all this stuff? All right, you see the 35s to the 54s are the biggest freeloaders here. So maybe we want to go after them and see if they can renew and give them some promotions or whatever, right? So now this is giving me insights in less than, 6 or 7 minutes to make a decision. How cool is that, right? So that's one aspect of it, the search. Now we have search, you've created a search. You can also create search answers. Now if I have like this, right, I can keep pinning all the questions, all the search that I showed, I can keep pinning to a live board, and I'll show you what a live board looks like. And then I can also publish it as a question or an answer that your users can ask. If there's an answer here that you've already created, and I want to say, what are my top 10 most watched shows last year? Somebody has already created this question, but it's the most popular question. I don't need to create all my searches and create all these live boards. Somebody's already created this for me. And I can see, oh, okay, these are my top 10 most watched shows. But look what I found too. I found shows watched in the final week subscription prior to cancellation. Maybe this is the insight I'm looking for. What is it? Let's take a look. Boom, easy. Live query, right? We don't store any data. We don't persist data. All the data, the queries we create goes live into the database, and you get the live results. So there is no staleness. It's freshness here. And this is a Sankey visualization chart. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. But you get to know, okay, Ted Lasso here, again, is the most watched show, and these are the customer, this demographic in this show is going to cancel. So now you have pinpointed accuracy on where to focus your efforts to make the decisions. All right, with me so far? All right. Now, we also talked about, Derek talked about, 2 ways to consume ThoughtSpot, right? One is the ThoughtSpot analytics, which we just showed you. One is the ThoughtSpot embedded, or ThoughtSpot everywhere. What is that, right? It's basically taking ThoughtSpot, our engine, and putting it in your car, right? You may like the skin, you may like the look and feel of your application, you may like the way you want to build an analytics application within your own environment. Totally cool. We can show you how to do that. Totally API-driven. We have SDKs for you to do that. No problem, right? You go to the developer playground here. Here's a lot of information over here. You can build, interactive data apps powered by ThoughtSpot here. Like I said, there's all these APIs. There's a full API reference over here. There are custom actions that you can create. Custom actions are such like if you want to send data to Slack or to Jira or to email or to HubSpot, you can create and develop all of that over here, right? But here's a Visual Embed SDK playground. Very, very simple, very easy to use. So if I want to do, if I want to say, I want to do a live board SDK, right? I select my live board that I just did here, right? And I'm going to run it. So this is my own spot shop, right? The live boards, the search and the visualizations I created, this is how it is. Here's your code. You can create anything you want over here, change, update, upgrade, change it again, put that, copy it over here, put that in your IDE, and you can go from there. Extremely powerful. You can also bring your own charts. If you don't like the visualizations you see, oh, by the way, you can even interact with the data right here, from right here. You can explore from here. You can drill anywhere. Oops. All sorts of stuff. Everything is possible. Cool? And with that, let me show you the live board. We create. So here's your live board. You saw that up in the monitors over there. Most of you stopped by our stall. This is what, a typical, I started with this, right? This is live board. But I showed you the journey, how easy it is with ThoughtSpot to get here. Here's all the data. And you can publish this. Your users can save this, copy it, save it, and make it their own, personalize it. They can change the colors the way they want. They can just, include, anything over here. They can drill from within right here, show name, boom. Right? Search, right click, drill down. No SQL, no problem. Cool. That's the end of my show. Any questions?
Thanks, Ali.
Sure.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. Just one second. So I feel we've gone, you know what an event horizon is. When you go over the edge, there's no going back. And so we've just saw live analytics in motion, and the return on investment for that Databricks investment that your company, enterprise, has made, leverage that data, bring all the users to it to do what Ali has basically been doing, asking questions and getting answers real time. Okay, so for the next segment of our presentation, I've got the pleasure of introducing Martin Stangeland from Flyr in Norway. Yeah. And perhaps you could introduce yourself a bit, and we'll just have some Q&A.
Sure, thank you. Well, I'm Martin Stangeland from Flyr, which is a startup, Norwegian startup airline company. Started up, sold our first tickets May last year, and we had our first flight 3rd of June last year. So we are celebrating 1 year of operations 2 days from now. And we started mid-pandemic, so sort of excited about the opportunities of a good crisis. And but sort of a reality of it is that we started up this airline because really of some major changes happening in the airline industry. Some of the back-end systems are changing, and that's really what we want to take advantage of. We are the first sort of first airline company 100% running on the new system.
That's awesome. So a digital startup airline in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And so all these systems are new. You're investing in the cloud. Databricks is your platform.
Exactly. We have started everything from scratch now in the last 2 years. So everything is built in the cloud from the beginning. And Databricks was sort of the platform we chose to sort of build and manage all our data. And we were really excited when we learned about ThoughtSpot and the opportunity to really leverage the data that we built in Databricks.
Now, if I understand, Power BI is in your platform.
It is.
Help us understand your thought process, why you went beyond Power BI. what's your vision for analytics?
Yeah, so one of the sort of terms everyone's talking about these days with data literacy, right? So using, what we're seeing is when using Power BI, we have some really great sort of data sets that we are publishing through Power BI. But what we keep seeing is that the users, they keep coming back for multiple views on top of that data, so that we create 30 views on one certain data set, and they always have to come back to us. And that really doesn't build the data literacy, I think. It doesn't really make them mature in really as asking for data or using data, because they always get what they need, and that in a small sort of, well, in a startup with a company like ours, that's not sustainable. So we really needed self-service. We needed the ability to sort of allow the users to explore the data themselves and dive into it themselves. And that also increases the maturity on the data, I think. Yeah.
Cool. So your users, your business users, this change management, you've enabled self-service. Can you share some of the questions that you've been seeing them interrogate?
Sure. So we're sort of just coming out of the pandemic. There's a lot of other things going on in Europe. There's sort of, in Norway these days, it's quite sort of a messy situation with a lot of strikes going on. So our sort of business users, they really need information to be able to govern the company. Where are we going with this speed? Where are we going? So they need information about, basically revenue. Fuel is really a big factor in the cost. So we need to sort of provide information about what is the average cost of sort of consumption of fuel? Because we actually operate two aircraft, one new 737 and one older 737, and we really need to learn really the consumption between these two aircraft types.
So Martin, I see we're down to the last couple of minutes here. In a summary fashion, your expectation of ThoughtSpot, if you brought it into your environment. Any success story or challenge that you feel good about that you'd like to share?
Yeah. So what I really want to achieve is really to help my users be be able to sort of self-sufficient on really data, being able to navigate, being able to find their own answers without us sort of building the dashboards for them all the time. I want them to be self-sufficient. So that's my goal.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
So I think we have time for one question from the audience.
Very quick one. Any really quick question? Yes.
Please.
Thank you. My question is kind of relates to the keynote point that we heard today as well. And so there was the point that I know ThoughtSpot currently, doesn't have a direct connection to Salesforce specifically. And we learned that through Partner Connect in Databricks, we can use Fiverr and then connect to Salesforce and bring the data. So going through that route, then we'll be able to use Salesforce in ThoughtSpot and do analytic on that. I know we can implement ThoughtSpot inside Salesforce, but I don't want to do that.
Okay, so your question is you don't want to implement ThoughtSpot everywhere as an embedded application within your Salesforce application. You want to have this as a standalone analytic environment for users to go to, but have Salesforce data feed into...
Yes, through the process we learned today. And in general, I want to learn your feedback on features that's coming in Databricks, which is extremely cool, such as marketplace data. What will happen with the connection from marketplace data in analytic on ThoughtSpot?
So I can quickly answer that. We are going live on Partner Connect as we speak right now. So we're happy about the conference and a number of the key initiatives like Delta sharing and Marketplace. We're really excited about those in our roadmap as well. So you can expect within the next period of time, we're going to have that available to all Databricks users. Thank you for asking that.
Thank you.
Can I add to your answer real quick? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Am I audible? Oh, no, I'm audible, I guess, right? So you mentioned Fivetran. Did I hear you say Fivetran correctly? So yeah, I think you got the perfect stack over there, right? To use Fivetran as an ingestion layer, as an ETL, ELT layer to take that your Salesforce data and put it in a Delta Lake, right? Then you're off to the races, right? Then you have ThoughtSpot directly connect into Delta Lake, and then you're there, right? So yeah, you'll get that ingestion layer using Fivetran, move it to Delta Lake, then you can go straight away. We also have something called Spot Apps. Sorry, 15 seconds, Spot Apps. Quick plug, right? It's basically Spot Apps for Salesforce, and we have Spot Apps for Jira and Spot Apps for ServiceNow. So these are pre-built worksheets and live boards that come, basically get you, it's an accelerator to kind of get you like 80 to 90% over there. So you don't have to kind of do everything from scratch. Either stop by the booth, I'll just stop by after this, and we can chat more about this. I think it requires a lengthy conversation. These things get me excited. So,
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for coming today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
I'll let you turn this off.